Welcome back to Chronically Fabulous. I'm Emily. So today's video, if you didn't know, I am a cosplayer. I am a closeted nerd. I make my own props, I make my own costumes. There's a whole shit ton of photos everywhere, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is Fan Expo. So a lot of people online have seen the hashtag cosplay is not consent. And I know a lot of people are wondering where that came from, or where it like really picked up speed from. And that was Fan Expo 2015. So that was last year at Fan Expo. So basically what happened to like fill people in for all of the shit that happened last year, because it wasn't just one thing. So last year there was, okay, for anybody who doesn't know what cosplay is costume play. So you dress up as a character that's like related to an anime or a game or a book or anything along the, even movies and stuff like that, or you can do your own character. And it's not like, a lot of people do it because they enjoy doing it. It's not for the money, it's just because they enjoy getting out of their own skin for a little while. And so a lot of cosplays, if you're sticking true to the character, are like kind of scandalous and kind of like scantily clad, but most of us don't shame each other for it, because it's like, if you're trying to be really close to cosplay, being revealing is kind of part of it for some cosplays. And that's not to say that modifying a cosplay to cover up more or to be more revealing is a bad thing. It's all personal choice. But last year at Fan Expo there were some people going around who would ask to take a photo with someone, and when they would like put their arm around them, they would grope their butt. And of course people are not okay with it, because just because you're in a revealing cosplay, it doesn't mean that anybody has a right to touch you. And it happened to a few people, or people were grabbing boobs, or people were like touching bare skin when they weren't given permission to, especially around the waist, around the thigh and stuff like that. And so there were a few cosplayers who went to security and they were just like, listen, this is happening and we're not okay with it. And the security guard had the nerve to say, well, if you're dressing like that, you should expect it. Excuse me? It's like that whole argument that it's like, if you don't want to get raped, wear a skirt that's longer. Just because I am dressed a certain way does not give anybody any right to do anything to me that I am not okay with. So that sparked a big outrage online, because like, cosplay is not consent. That's where it comes from. Just because I am wearing something that is true to a character, or that is like my interpretation of a character, and it's revealing, does not give you any right to touch me. That seems like the simplest concept, but some people just don't get it. And it's like, how do you not understand something like that? It's like, what's a good analogy? It's like when you're out with a friend and they buy food and you're like, oh, can I have some? If they say yes, sure, you take some. If they say no, you don't touch it because it's their food. And if they say, maybe wait till I'm done and you can have what's left over, you wait till they're done and they decide what you get. Is it not that simple? Like, just this whole like victim blaming thing, I hate using that term, but it's true, is so stupid, because it's just like, look at this thing that happened to you. If you had done something different, it wouldn't have happened. It's like, I'm not going to stop living my life to stop someone else from being a douchebag. How about you teach the douchebag to not be a douchebag? Anyway. Also, one of the other things that happened at Fan Expo last year was they didn't regulate ticket sales. So they just kept selling tickets and selling tickets and selling tickets. And anybody who knows any kind of building safety knows that every room and every building has like a cap of how many people should be legally in that building, because anything past that is a fire hazard. Because if there's more than that set amount, people will start trampling each other to get out, or just too many people will be trying to get out at once and nobody will be able to get out. So it becomes a really big safety hazard at that point. And last year, Fan Expo didn't care about that number. They just kept selling more and more tickets, and then it got to a point where we were almost at like double the capacity that the Toronto Convention Center was supposed to hold. Like, it was full to the brim of people. And we were all wondering, why are we like shuffling shoulder to shoulder? Like, Fan Expo is a very busy con on its own, but it was more busy than we'd ever seen. And so my brother Chris, who I'll see if I can get up here to talk about it for a little bit, decided while we were at the convention, without knowing ahead of time that there were too many people in the convention center, went outside to have a cigarette because my brother smokes. He went out for a cigarette bait and was dressed as Castiel from Supernatural. So, big trench coat, wearing pants, not cool to be out in the summertime in like 35-degree weather. And then when he came back to the door, they were like, sorry, you can't come in yet, we have to wait. And he was like, why? Why do we have to wait? And it was a security guard telling him. He was like, oh, well, they sold too many tickets, so now there's like almost 2 times the people that are like in there that should be in there. And he was like, how long am I gonna have to wait? They were like, oh, about 2.5 hours. And he was like, fuck that. Because we were there on the Saturday, and Saturday tickets are $60 a ticket, man. Like, if you're going to sell me a ticket that is $60, you best make sure that I can get in and out whenever I need. Because what if someone's not even going out for a smoke? What if someone's going out for lunch or going to meet their friend outside to make sure they can get in to have a good time and to make sure they don't get lost? Like, someone's gonna go outside and all of a sudden realize, oh, you can't get back in for another like 2.5 hours. It's like, what the fuck? So that happened. I'm sorry if the lighting changes a lot. I'm actually like trying out natural lighting for once, and I'm like by my window. But no, like, so many people were pissed, rightfully so, because it's a very expensive ticket. And my brother decided, he was like, I'm not staying here. There's no way. But yeah, so there was a lot of stuff that happened and went wrong at Fan Expo last year. Like, between the cosplayers not consent thing and so many people being locked out, and most of those people having, okay, all the people who had been locked out had been there for a while. Like, it was people who had been in the convention and had to go outside for a little bit. Because when there's so many people in one space, it gets hot. Like, sounds like common sense, but it gets warm in there. So a lot of people had to go outside, and these people were people who had been there probably from like the start of the day. And it was the people who were coming in late that were taking up their places inside while they were outside without them knowing. And so the people who had been like waiting several hours to get into the convention center in the morning to be there, like the first people in, had to go home early because they couldn't get back in. And it was just ridiculous and a waste of time. And then with all the cosplayers not consent thing going on, like, people are thinking about boycotting Fan Expo this year. And as of right now recording this video, Fan Expo is in about a month and a half-ish, maybe a little bit less than that. And I am very heavily debating whether or not I should be going, because Fan Expo used to be one of my favorite conventions. It was the second con I ever went to. The first one was Comic-Con in Toronto, the second one was Fan Expo. And with all this stuff happening, like, I'm trying to decide whether or not it was Fan Expo's fault for the cosplayers not consent blow up, or if it was just the individual security guards and how stuff like that will be handled this year. Because, like, regardless of what anybody says, you have no right to touch a cosplayer. You can ask for a photo, but just because you ask for a photo, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna put my arm around you and grab your ass really hard. It's like, you wouldn't do that with one of your friends, or if you saw like a celebrity in public, it wouldn't be like, oh, can I take your photo? And you get in a photo with them, it's just like, let me just touch your ass now. It's like, you wouldn't do that. But we're trying, a lot of us, like my friends who are also in the cosplay community and like just the convention community in general, have been trying to figure out if we should go or not, because... Be quiet! We are trying to figure out because, like, so many people are angry with Fan Expo and the security guards, because Fan Expo itself fucked up with the number of people that were supposed to be going in. The security guards fucked up with how they handled people being assaulted. So now a lot of people are trying to figure out, is Fan Expo going to do that ticket thing this year? And is there going to be the same security situation where it's like, if someone has a problem and goes to security and says, I have a problem, is security just gonna be like, you can fix your own problem if you hadn't done that? I'd love to hear your thoughts, please and thank you. It would be very helpful to like help all of us decide, because we have no idea what to do. Oh well. Anyway. I'm sorry that this video is up a little bit late. It's just, today's been a very hectic week. The move video is coming soon. It'll probably be up next week with talking to Anthony about stuff. So yeah, leave your comments down below about what you think on Fan Expo and also what you want to know about the move. Anyway, I'm Emily from Chronically Fabulous, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.